Yeah.
In my book, Moving Forward, Getting the Triple Effect, which is basically getting 3 times more for your business and selling your business 3 times faster, we talk about a lot of different ways that one can go about improving the value of the business. You might be able to do it by increasing your sales efforts and your marketing. It could be by trimming back on some of your operations and making things more efficient. It could be through acquisitions. There's lots of different ways that you can go about improving the value of the company. Oftentimes what we find is that when family business owners get to that stage in their lives where typically they're in their 50s or 60s, maybe even their 70s, in a lot of cases they've taken a step back where they've continued to do business in a certain fashion because it's been successful for them, except that what they've done is they've maintained the same annual sales for a long period of time. And when you ask the question, well, why have you been doing $6.7 million in sales for the last 10 years? I don't know, this may sound familiar to you, but the typical answer seems to be, well, Eric, you know what, we have, my partner and I have winter places, we have summer places, we have all the toys, the company's running well. We don't necessarily have to work that hard at making the business, that much better. Until the time comes when they start to think about this whole concept of selling or transitioning the company. At which point I'd like to ask the question, do you know the difference between selling a $6.7 million company and a $10 or $11 million company? And typically they'll say no, fill me in. And the answer is really interesting. If you sell a $6.7 million company, you'll probably get 3 or 4 times EBITDA. And the reason for that is that there aren't a lot of people that actually are looking for companies under 10 million. They're buying companies under 10 million because there isn't a lot of choice out there. But what they really want, many buyers anyway, they really want is a company that's over 10 or 15 or even 20 million in sales. So if you were to get your company from 6.7 to 10 or 11 or 12 million, you'd likely be looking at 6 to 7 times EBITDA instead of 3 to 4 times EBITDA. And if you spent the time increasing the value so it wasn't just trying to improve sales, that's only one small aspect of it. If you spent time in other areas, operations, finance, sales, marketing, human resources, managing your cash flow better, if you spent time in all these different areas, you would likely increase the value of the business and therefore increase the EBITDA and therefore start with a larger EBITDA and go to the marketplace at perhaps 6 or 7 times EBITDA. Now I don't know about you, but to me and my friends, the difference between 3 or 4 times a $6 or $7 million company EBITDA and 6 or 7 times a 10 or 11, $12 million company is life-changing money. That's really serious money. And you may think that you have enough money to take you into retirement, but I don't know what crystal ball you're using, but you know what? I don't think anybody really knows how much money they really are going to need. You can have a best guess, but the way things are going with the government and the economy these days, I don't think anybody really knows. So if I was going to make a recommendation, it would be to err on the side of caution and err on the side of making more money as opposed to less money. And you know what? I've had people say this to me, well, Eric, I don't need any more money. Well, then I ask this question. If you could sell your business for, say, $5 million and you think that's all you need, but then you had an opportunity to sell it for $6 or $7 million and you still believe you don't need any more than 5, then take that extra $2 million and do some good with it. Use it philanthropically. Use it in this country, use it in other countries. You could go to third world countries and build wells. I mean, that's an easy answer. You could help your kids get into a business or buy a company or start a company. There's all kinds of things that you can do with the extra money. The point is that you can do a lot of good. The boomer generation has had a really good run for the last 30, 40, 50 years. And I think that we owe it to the marketplace and we owe it to our country to give back as much as we possibly can and to leave this country and leave this economy in the best possible hands that we can. So there's a little bit of politicking in my thinking, but I think it all comes down to we've been fortunate. How can we help the next generation and the generation after that be just as fortunate?
Very nice.
I should run for office.